Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at A.I Multiverse. We're going to do a few of these coins today, but A.I Multiverse, very small looking chart, basically nothing, not really much to it at all. But there's a few things we could think about. First of all, we could look at it like this, which is basically just your average little tiny wedge, and it's well, I mean, like I say, there isn't much to it. One of the biggest clues you could have, or one of the biggest bullish arguments you could make, doesn't actually show on a TradingView chart or even any Kucoin chart other than the app. On the app, you get to see the MACD on the weekly, which is turning up and has been turning up since its giant first initial demise, and it's been turning up bit by bit by bit by bit. Very similar to the way that the RSI and the money flow index look on the weekly. Probably from what it looks like now, maybe a few weeks away from a positive cross. Now that at the same time as looking at this, which could be potentially, and again, potentially could be, and again, this chart isn't very old, so it's difficult to say, but could suggest that this giant consolidation is over. We're into either a period of accumulation or maybe uptrend. Again, this isn't a very old chart, so it's difficult to really take it seriously. However, there has been some changes of behaviour recently. We go to the 4-hourly chart to start with. So, for the first time in what looks like a very long time, we have just peaked and broken out of the 200 exponential moving average on the 4-hourly. So this is a good sign, because last time we did that was this big breakout here. I'm not suggesting that this is how it's going to perform, far from it. In fact, I think that what we're looking at now is going to be a lot more constructive than this massive big blow off top move. It's now looking like it's turning around, essentially going into an uptrend, right? But again, with the weekly, which is the most important component to a chart that looks like this, we want to see a turnaround on the weekly. I wouldn't really get too excited until we start to break and start closing candle bodies above 2 cents again, which was the major area of support that broke down. And this is my main entry point, 2 cents, because I looked at this chart and said, well, you've got to be in it to win it, and based upon this, what we've got here would suggest that 2 cents is going to be a support to hold, and it didn't. It broke down quite nastily, and so now hopefully we are turning around from that. But I'm not going to get major bullish on it until we break it and hold above between 2 cents and 2.2 cents is basically the area of significance. But on the 4-hourly, we have finally just closed a 4-hourly above it. It is only a 4-hourly, so let's not get too excited. We'll just move this over to the daily, and we'll see what we can see on the daily. On the daily, we're at the top of a very pinched Bollinger Band here, so suggesting volatility will come into this. And again, this does not mean that it's going to suddenly just move straight up. Now, I know previous behaviour has suggested that that's how this coin likes to move, so I can't say that won't happen again. We've not got much to go by, but yeah, it has happened in the past. That's how this has moved in the past. But I'm not saying that that's going to happen again. But it could, because that's how charts like to behave. This coin has behaved that way, so it could happen again. There's going to be a lot of sell orders around here, so that could be good or bad. Depends on the volume at the time of the breakout. Now, obviously, looking at the chart on its own, I wouldn't be expecting a great deal from it until the end of this month, when the the Ichimoku cloud, starts to dissipate. And again, that dissipates around the 2 cent zone, suggesting that if we are at 2 cents or above by the end of this month, then November could be a very interesting month. That also goes hand in hand with what I see taking place on the weekly. Not that we can see that on this chart, but we saw it. If you have the app, you'll be able to see on the Kucoin app that the weekly does look like it wants to turn around and actually cross bullish over the next few weeks, which would bring us towards the end of this month, similar to what we see over here. So, in the next few weeks and maybe a couple of months, we could be looking at a very, very quick and aggressive turnaround on this chart. But I've said it before, I said it when I first started making videos on this, that this is essentially like a gamble. It's a very old, not a very old chart, and with that alone makes it more unpredictable than most. Like I say, I bought into this between 2 and 2.2 cent, and so obviously at the moment I'm still down, and at some point I was significantly down, but I was willing to let it ride. Like I say, it's been a good few years of crypto, so it's sometimes you just have to make gambles. But I wouldn't suggest gamble anything that you don't that you're not prepared to lose, which is why I made the videos in the first place. Because on my Telegram chat I did mention that I'd bought into this, and then I got a little worried and concerned that other people were going to follow me, so I did make a video essentially to explain the risks of buying something like this. And again, even at this level, or even down at these levels, there is still risk, because if we were to break down from here, then we've got basically below a cent, which is where our next major support would be before this gets bought up, if it gets bought up. And if it breaks down from there, then it's the equivalent of a blue sky breakout to the down, right? It's a horrendous demise. But for the moment, it does look like it's wanting to change and turn around on the 4 hourly, especially daily a little bit, and on the weekly there are signs of definite change. But again, with a weekly, you have to wait, a longer period of time. So on the 12 hourly, again, we're above all major moving averages. We're also outside of the Bollinger Band here. So again, with a coin that trades like this, which is generally down, we have to expect rejections at every level. And again, it's not something that I'm willing to try and trade on. It's something that it's more of an investment, if anything. A coin in its infancy, you've got to look at the overall bigger picture, and at the moment there's not much of a development going on right now. There are certain things down the pipeline, I suppose, which might and actually would increase its value, such as staking. Essentially, a lot of the value of AI Multiverse, the token, is going to be through staking, because you're going to be able to stake it into so many different types of projects to receive different types of crypto. That's basically where the majority of its value is going to come from, and yet no staking is available. So you could argue the point, which is that buy down here, buy low, and wait for maybe an inordinate amount of time for that to be facilitated, and then that might lock up hundreds of thousands, millions of tokens to then be stuck into staking, which would take some off the market and hopefully increase the value of this token. So the 12 hourly looks like it's at resistance, so does the 4 hourly, and obviously the daily doesn't show any signs of life until we break above 2 or 2.2 cent between now and the end of the month. That's really when I'm looking to get quite excited about this. It is going to take several weeks, and again, we'll revisit this in November to see where we are. And if it does do a massive breakout, then that's its first opportunity to do it properly. It can obviously have breakouts now. I would expect them to be sold off, but towards the end of this month into next month, large breakouts might be sustained, and then we could go into an official uptrend, to which this coin has never had. It's never had an uptrend, right? And when we look at these Kucoin gems, and we see, I suppose, the history of a lot of them and how they look, they do end up going collapsing into their own shadows like this, and then they do go into very aggressive uptrends, and this could be one of them. But again, until there's an uptrend formed, we are essentially speculating on its value in the long term. We're also speculating on where its bottom could be. And again, we're kind of hoping, it's hopium really, if anything, that this is going to turn around. But there is signs of life, definitely. There is signs of life. But again, like I say, I have to say it again and again and again, towards the end of this month into November is where, if anything is going to happen, that's when it's going to happen. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.